Buy my lemonade, it's to help my sick mommy. The CEO who caused her pain never expected that. The sun beat down on the cracked sidewalk of Maple Street, where 8-year-old Lily stood behind a rickety card table, her small hands gripping a pitcher of lemonade. Her sign scrawled in bright crayon read, "Buy my lemonade, it's to help my sick mommy." The words were uneven, the letters wobbling with a child's earnest effort, but they carried a weight that stopped passers-by in their tracks. Lily's brown eyes sparkled with hope, though shadows of worry lingered beneath them. Her mother, Sarah, had been sick for months, battling a mysterious illness that drained her strength and their savings. Lily didn't understand medical jargon or hospital bills, but she knew her mommy needed help. So there she was in a faded sundress, pouring lemonade with all the determination her little heart could muster, calling out to strangers with a voice both brave and trembling. Maple Street was a quiet corner of a bustling town, but it wasn't far from the gleaming tower of Apex Pharmaceuticals, a company that loomed over the community like a cold, untouchable giant. Most people hurried past Lily's stand, offering sympathetic smiles or spare change, but few stopped long enough to hear her story. She didn't mind. Every quarter in her jar was a step closer to saving her mom. What Lily didn't know was that her small act of love was about to collide with the life of a man who had long forgotten what love felt like. James Carver, the CEO of Apex Pharmaceuticals, the very company responsible for her mother's suffering. James Carver was a man of sharp suits and sharper ambition. At 52, he had built Apex into a titan of the industry, but at a cost. Under his leadership, the company had cut corners, rushing a new drug to market without proper testing. That drug, meant to treat chronic pain, had side effects that left thousands like Sarah bedridden, their bodies betraying them while Apex denied responsibility. James didn't lose sleep over it. To him, the lawsuits were just numbers on a spreadsheet, and the complaints were noise to be silenced by lawyers. But fate has a way of weaving threads no one sees coming. That morning, James's car broke down a block from Maple Street, forcing him to walk through a part of town he usually sped past in his chauffeured sedan. As James strode by, his phone pressed to his ear, Lily's voice cut through his conversation like a bell. "Mister, buy my lemonade? It's to help my sick mommy." He glanced over, annoyed at the interruption, but something about her eyes, wide, unyielding, and achingly sincere, made him pause. He waved off his call and approached the stand, more out of curiosity than kindness. "How much?" he asked, fishing for his wallet. 50 cents, Lily said proudly, pouring a cup with careful precision. James handed her $1, told her to keep the change, and took a sip. The lemonade was too sweet, almost syrupy, but he nodded politely. "Why's your mom sick?" he asked, expecting a simple answer. Lily's face fell, and she explained in her childlike way. Fevers, dizziness, pain that wouldn't stop. The symptoms hit James like a punch to the gut. They were textbook side effects of his company's drug. He could have walked away then, written it off as coincidence, but Lily kept talking. "Mommy used to sing to me every night, but now she's too tired. The doctors say it's the medicine she took, but we can't afford the new treatment." Her voice cracked, and James felt a pang he hadn't felt in years. Guilt. He asked her mother's name, dreading the answer. "Sarah Thompson," Lily said. James froze. He remembered that name from a legal brief, one of the first plaintiffs in a class action suit against Apex. His company's drug had poisoned her, and here was her daughter, selling lemonade to fix what he'd broken. James didn't know what to say. He mumbled something about being late and left, the lemonade cup heavy in his hand. Back in his office, he couldn't shake Lily's face. He pulled up Sarah Thompson's file, reading the details of her case for the first time. Not as a liability, but as a person. Single mother, 34, former nurse, now unable to work. The weight of it pressed on him, and for the first time in years, James felt the walls of his carefully constructed world crack. He'd always told himself that business was business, that sacrifices were necessary for progress. But Lily's voice echoed in his mind, and he couldn't unhear it. Over the next week, James found himself returning to Maple Street. He didn't buy more lemonade, he didn't need to. He just watched Lily from a distance, her resilience cutting deeper each time. She was there every day, rain or shine, her jar slowly filling with coins. One afternoon, a group of teenagers mocked her sign, kicking over her table. James stepped forward, ready to intervene, but Lily didn't cry. She picked up the table, wiped her eyes, and started again. That was the moment something broke in James, not just guilt, but the armor he'd worn for decades. He saw his own daughter in Lily, a girl he hadn't spoken to in years, estranged by his obsession with success. He went back to his office and did something unprecedented. He ordered a full investigation into the drug's side effects, overriding his board's objections. He met with Sarah Thompson's doctors, anonymously funding her experimental treatment. But it wasn't enough. One night, unable to sleep, James drove to Maple Street after dark. The stand was gone, but he found Lily's address in the files. He stood outside their modest apartment, clutching an envelope with a check for $100,000, enough to cover Sarah's care and more. He slipped it under the door with a note, "For Lily's mommy. I'm sorry." He didn't sign it. He didn't need credit. For the first time, he just needed to make things right. Weeks later, Sarah's health began to improve. The new treatment worked, and Lily's lemonade stand became a thing of the past. The neighborhood rallied around them, inspired by Lily's courage. Word spread, and soon Apex Pharmaceuticals faced a reckoning. James went public, admitting the company's failures and pledging to compensate every affected family. The decision cost him his job, his reputation, and millions in stock value, but it gave him something he'd lost long ago: peace. One day, James returned to Maple Street, no longer in a suit but in jeans, a man unburdened. Lily was playing hopscotch on the sidewalk, her laughter bright. She didn't recognize him, but she waved anyway, her smile as warm as the sun. "Want some lemonade?" she called, pointing to a new pitcher on her table. "It's free today." James laughed, tears in his eyes, and took a cup. It still tasted too sweet, but it was the best thing he'd ever had. Lily's small act of love had done more than save her mother. It had saved a man who thought he was beyond redemption. Her courage reminded a community and a nation that kindness can move mountains, and as James sipped that lemonade, he knew the world could be better because a little girl had shown him how. Her story spread, inspiring others to act with compassion, proving that even the smallest gesture, a cup of lemonade, could change everything.